Well, hello and welcome back. This is the F1000 podcast. I'm Chaps. I'm here as always with Mike, and we are back. We're betting $1,000 on tomorrow's Brazilian Grand Prix. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We are here. It's another sprint weekend, which means Mike and I are up very early. We have not seen sprint shootout. We have not seen the sprint or practice 2. We're operating off practice 1 and qualifying. We got some grid penalties. We're going to jump right into it. Let's start with the teams, Mike. How we feeling today? How we feeling?
How about we start with a concept? Because I've been thinking about it all week. And just high-level stuff. Like, we don't have to try to...
We like high level.
Yeah, we don't have to try to work this in, but I feel like it'll appeal to you because you love the plus money bets, man.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, so what I wanted to... I think we need to acknowledge some of... We do a good job, I feel like, of acknowledging some of the information that the book gives you and how they set their odds for different props. And I'm going to interrupt
you. Save your thought. How they... just move your mic a little closer.
Oh.
Producer Gary's in my ear saying we could get a little bit more volume from you.
Okay.
Because this is going to be a good point.
Okay, hold on. Let's do this then. How's that?
That's a way better.
Okay.
Exponentially.
Perfect.
All right, continue your point. Sorry about that. Thanks, Gary.
Beautiful. Okay, so one of the props that we don't even look at, but that's interesting.
Okay.
is total classified drivers three-way.
Yeah. Oh, right? The three-way. Okay.
Right? And it is almost invariably, and I've been looking at this back and forth when we go through the book in the weeds for the last couple of weeks. Like, the minus money bet is always between 17 and 18 cars are going to classify inclusively. Mm-hmm. Right? So the book is acknowledging, and I was looking back at the average number of cars that finish the race. It very well, almost always, hits these numbers between 17 and 18. Unless there's a really big accident. On the rare occasion, you're getting an entire race where maybe only one or no cars come out. It doesn't happen very often.
Right.
What I think that does, though, is allow you to bet with a bit more of an aggressive mindset in thinking that at the top of the grid for maybe the first 10 point scoring positions, and even like those final 5 spots between 10 and 15, there's going to be spots that become available due to accidents, due to driver error, mechanical failures, that type of thing. It might be worth looking at trying to bake in some of that thought to these bets that we're making, because I'm tired of losing on a minus 225 bet, and it's because our driver comes out of the race when you could have in theory been potentially losing on a plus money bet. It doesn't hit as hard, I feel like, when your driver comes out of the race for unforeseen circumstances if you've taken a little bit more from the book in terms of like an extra chance at it. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. Yeah.
Not that like it shouldn't dramatically change again the way that we're approaching things, because generally what we do is we try to come together on our opinion of how the race is going to play out, and then we find the props that line up with that. And I still think that we should do that 100%. But I think last week was a really great example of something where we found Alex Albon in a position. He was caught out in qualifying because of the atmospheric conditions in Mexico, essentially. He was outside of the points, and he was plus money. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, this is great, because we got killed on Sergio Perez coming out of the race, but that helped the Albon bet. Something as simple as that, right?
Right.
So that style of thinking, looking for extra positions to play with, understanding that there's probably going to be somebody at the top of the order and near the bottom of the order that does come out of the race, that is just a little bit of an edge that might make some of those plus money bets hit. That's just for me and you. We don't have to even keep this. It's just a thought.
Yeah, so I don't disagree. Are you trying to hit the window 17 and 18 inclusive? Is that what you're thinking? The minus money?
I'm not trying to hit a window. I'm just saying when we're
But
betting,
is that the bet you like out of the 3?
Well, I like the bet that's minus money. I like the bet that Vegas is saying, the books are saying that it's very likely, based on the past results in races, that 2 to 3 cars come out of the race. Like, that's just the average number of cars that come out of a Formula One Grand Prix. for a myriad of reasons, and it does and obviously it's 5-1 sometimes.
Not circuit specific. That's not just Brazil. You're saying just in general.
Just in general, like that's the minus money bet in the three-way is always between.
The only thing that would suck is we have this as a bit of protection, and then 3 cars go out instead of 2.
But Chaps, you're missing my point.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not saying
I am.
don't. We're not betting. We're not taking that prop. We're just looking through the other props with that in mind. Like, hey, the book thinks that
I missed your point.
2 to 3 cars are coming out. They think 2 to 3 cars are coming out. So we can be a little bit more liberal in some of the bets we're making. When we always do this, we always go, okay, well, is he going to get that guy and that guy and that guy? That's how we make a decision. And sometimes I think you have to go, okay, is he going to get that guy and that guy? And if he has to get, like, if he has to get 3 guys to get into the points, maybe one of those guys comes out of the race. And instead of trying to justify it from a perspective of,
okay, I see what you're saying.
Can he do it from his, from his position in the race on the grid, his machinery, his advantage as a driver? Maybe you go, that extra little bit that he needs to get into a point scoring position or he needs to get onto a podium can be aided by the fact that a car probably is going to come out in between them.
Yeah, which we saw with our Albon bet last week when Checo left.
We're on the other side of that too much. I think we need to start exploiting it in the way that we bet instead of being a casualty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only thing that I'm fighting on your point is like, okay, well, we're usually looking at bets that involve the points positions.
Yeah.
It could be Logan Sargent out of 20.
100%.
That is one of these 2 cars that doesn't finish, and then it really has no effect.
No, absolutely. And that's where it has to be taken. You have to have, I think the rationale still has to be really strong. Like, again, the Albon bet is a perfect example because we're looking at it like the car looked fast over 1 lap, and we were feeling pretty good that they would have some quality race pace. He had to make up 4 positions to get into the points. But we were looking at it from a perspective, he can get the drivers in front of him. We didn't even think about the fact that one of those...
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
13 grid spots ahead of them, probably somebody's going to come out of the race. It just adds extra credence to a potential bet like that. You know what I mean? And what I'm thinking it'll do more so, chaps, is influence the amount that we bet on. Like what the actual allotment is for that bet. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe it doesn't change dramatically what props we're taking, but I think we need to focus on, okay, here's a bet that has a lot of points, has a lot of positions to play with. Mm-hmm. Drivers come out of the race.
Okay.
Right? You might want to put, instead of it being a $200 bet, maybe it's a $400 bet, even though it's plus money, because we like the fact that there's more flexibility.
Let me give your point back to you. Last week, we had a bet involving Checo on the podium and a bet involving Albon into the top 10.
Yes.
The book says it's minus money. Someone's going to come out of this race. We should have taken that and said, Albon's got more positions to play with and more people ahead of him that could be one of those that come out of the race.
Nailed it.
So the Albon gets more... Yeah, okay. Albon gets more value.
Right?
I got you.
I think, yeah, and again, maybe it's not influencing the props that we take, but maybe it's more so influencing the amount that we bet on those props themselves.
Okay, I'm with you. So
that's my point. Yeah.
For the mindset today, the book says that 2 guys are going to come out.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
2 or 3 guys. Right? Okay.
All right.
Match bets. Okay.
Little fake out into the team. Now I am going to go. Like, what's Aston Martin doing, dude? We got to talk Aston Martin.
Yeah, we got to talk Aston Martin.
They're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, they're in the wrong spot because of what happened in Q3.
They had the right timing in Q3.
They went out, they pushed immediately, they got the tires in the right window, and they put down banker laps that ended up getting them. We understand it. Like, it makes total sense. I will say there was some pace by Alonso on the hards, I think, comparable. So in FP1, there were some comparable laps that were thrown down on the hard compounds, which maybe they don't really look like they might be the race tire for Sunday. But
did they say 2-stopper? Well, it might rain. It's probably going to rain too.
It's probably going to rain.
I think they said 2-stopper though, right?
I think it is a 2-stopper. Yeah, which might take
so
the hards. It might not. They might not.
That's usually medium, anyway. Soft. Yeah.
Usually, right? I don't know. Like it would be hard for me to. It would be easy to fade Stroll, and I think obviously you should take every opportunity to do that. But I'm sure that the book has probably already baked that in.
That's the value I'm looking at now. It's not great.
Yeah. And Alonso's a little bit harder to kind of nail down. I mean, I would imagine that Alonso's going to move backwards, I think, almost assuredly. But how far backwards he's going to move, man, I don't really know. That's the hardest thing to figure out.
Well, we don't think, we know there's no value doing a match bet against the Red Bull. So when I think the Aston Martin, can we look for value? Okay, well, Ferrari is minus 300 against the Astons. Charles starts ahead. So McLaren's minus 250. Lando's in 6th. Lewis is in 5th. Mercedes is minus 500 against the Aston Martin.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be on the Aston Martin to hold off McLaren and Mercedes. Like, Lewis and Lando are going to go through on this race.
Lewis and Lando are going to go through on race pace alone at a track that allows you to overtake the easiest on the calendar. It's the most overtakes, correct?
Most overtakes on the calendar.
Most
62.
overtakes on the calendar. It's crazy.
You get an overtake.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. So when I look through these match bets, I don't see anything that jumps off the page to me, because the real value, or I'll not say the real value, the longer odds are with the Aston Martins being out of position.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would entertain theoretically is the plus 225 Aston Martin v Ferrari, just for some value, because you've got the two cars versus Leclerc, but like Leclerc on race pace alone they're not going to get him, right? Like, the only thing that happens is he's the guy who comes out of the race, and you're not going to bet on him to come out of the race. It doesn't.
And I don't think
really
that's.
make sense.
I actually don't think that's going to happen anymore. This isn't. We're not in Miami. Like,
No.
The Ferrari's better. The Aston Martin's worse now. I don't think he does get Charles.
I agree. I think it's just as simple as that.
But I do think. Okay, let's stick on the teams, because I do think Ferrari's going to struggle. There's big tire degradation or tire wear. I still don't understand the difference, but the tires fall off here.
Yep.
Ferrari's still not perfect at it.
No.
Leclerc in his post qualifying was pretty honest about he's not sure how the tires are going to perform tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what's weird too is I don't know how you factored this in, because we do tend to take what team principals, drivers, pretty well anybody who's on one of these constructors, the words they say, we try to take them quite literally, and then work that into our analysis ahead of the race. So it was interesting. They talked to the sporting director at Ferrari this week, because there was concern about plank wear here, same as Austin,
Okay.
because of the bumpiness of the circuit. And we know that Ferrari got caught out with
Yep.
Leclerc in being disqualified, which is, I mean, it took away, what was he, a fifth place, or yeah,
Lewis,
sixth or fifth?
I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it took away sixth place, I think, yeah. So the sporting director said, I can guarantee you that we are going to play it on the safe side here. It's always a trade-off to be a little bit safer, right? So if you are going to play it safe, you're not going to run the cars aggressively low, you're going to lose performance. And so if their goal is to ensure that they don't get disqualified based on running the car too low, then they're going to potentially lose performance that they need to maintain a position to stay on the podium, potentially in the top 6. I don't really know how far they fall theoretically, but tires and a conservative approach from a setup perspective and a ride height perspective could be the difference in Ferrari's race. I'm not saying that they're going to do that. That could just be a load of bullshit. That might be a media answer, right? Like the sporting director could be saying that because he's thinking, like, people are going to ask this question, the bumpiness of the circuit's coming up, plank wear is going to be a topic. He might just have that stock answer loaded, and he's going to tell people that. But on the off chance that they actually are playing it safe, so they don't get disqualified, because they need the points. They can't get disqualified, right?
Right.
They're in a fight right now.
He might just be trying to fool everyone.
Maybe.
Like, no, we're going.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a super high ride height.
Don't even,
because they
don't
didn't
test
test
us.
everyone.
Yeah,
They only
don't
tested
test
4
us.
cars. By the
Yeah.
way, if you test 4 cars and 2 of them fail,
I know.
shouldn't you go check the teammate at least?
Let's
Like,
not
at
worry
least
about
go check the other car in the same garage.
It's absolutely ridiculous. None of it makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
What the fuck?
But this is, I don't know if we want it. So you seem to be, I feel like we fade the Ferrari quite a bit, but
I know
you
we
seem
do.
to be in a position where you think they're probably lacking from a race pace perspective certainly compared to Mercedes.
But the Merc is minus 175.
In terms of that matchup.
That matchup, and I don't see a Ferrari McLaren. That's the one that might have had value. I don't see it on this list.
No, it's not there right now.
No.
I don't see I don't like the 175 either.
Me neither.
I wouldn't.
It almost makes me want to look at Ferrari the other way, but I just...
No.
Yeah, maybe we avoid it then. Okay.
I think we avoid it. I don't actually. When I look at this page, nothing really jumps out to me, and I think we move on. To be completely honest, I don't think that there's a race match bet for the
I
teams
agree.
that I like.
We'll move on from the team match bets.
Okay.
I know this is a single driver, but I'm just super curious. What's Stroll to DNF? Like, just specifically Stroll doesn't finish.
Why? You think he's not going to finish?
No.
I don't think I'd be able to make that bet, but
I think he crashes in turn 1. I think he's one of our 3 drivers that's out. We're not going to bet on it, but
okay. But that's an interesting. But so that's a good perspective on things, though, chaps, because that's grid position 3 immediately opening. Not that we think that he would maintain that in any way, but that's a podium position already opening up in turn 1. If that's your opinion of things,
it's
right?
just, well, if we look at the grid and I asked you, like, close your eyes, who are guys that you would think would run into other drivers? It's like, okay, Russell, Sainz are probably in there. Yuki might be in there. But it's Lance Stroll. Like,
Yeah, Lance could run into somebody else. I'm not going to argue that point. You're right,
and
He
he's
definitely
finally has a starting position. He's going to try to... It's either this or he gets his elbows out or he goes to play tennis next year.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, all right. I
I
took
don't
us
know.
off
I
track.
can't-
We're not doing drivers now anyways.
Okay, get us into
Let's get us back on track.
what are we looking at here?
Yeah, I don't know. Anything... Okay. You don't love the 2-car bets, but I have to explore them.
Yeah, no, we have to look at them. But okay, how about this? So here's another take on what I said earlier.
Yeah.
2-car bets specifically, I would have a very difficult time, I think, after having this bit of a revelation in my head. I would have a difficult time making a 2-car bet that doesn't have tremendous value. And I'm talking like even money or plus money. So if you see something that you like from that perspective, I'm in. But
Okay.
if you don't, I'm not interested in taking a minus 250 2-car bet. How about that?
Okay. I feel that, so I'm going to get off this page.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So the first one that I'm going to put out there for 2-car bet that's
Okay.
plus money is Red Bull at plus 350. Plus 350.
Red Bull most team points.
No, not most team points. 2-car bet, both cars podium finish plus
Oh,
350.
you didn't say podium. Oh,
Sorry, I
man.
didn't say that.
I don't think I want to be on Checo to get through 6 places again.
Okay, so
We can't.
we have to talk about this though. We have
Can't
to
go
talk.
back to the well with Checo.
You have to. So that's not a thing though. You can't. Every individual race is happening. In
No,
a
but
vacuum.
here's what is a thing, man.
What
I
is a
listened
thing?
to his post qualifying, and he's like, poor luck again. I was as fast as Max, and then
He wasn't,
I
though,
saw
actually.
Piastri in the last
Yeah.
corner, and it ruined my whole qualifying, and it's just bad luck for me again. No, I don't know, man. That doesn't sound to me like a guy that's coming onto the podium when you've got Lando and Lewis right there.
So Lando and Lewis, 100%. He's gonna have a tough time getting one of them. This is one of those bets, chaps. I get none, and we just talked
Plus
about it.
350.
Plus 350 for the guy in the car that has the most race pace, based on the long runs that they did in FP1.
That's still
Finish in one of those positions. I'm just saying.
that
like,
comment feels to me like it's 10 weeks ago.
It's
He
not
doesn't
10
have
weeks ago.
he doesn't have 30 seconds on the grid or like whatever 2 seconds on the grid in qualifying pace anymore.
Well, it's not.
It's
about
not in
qual-
hit-
He never has in qualifying pace.
What?
It's not-
No, but the car did is my point, and he just
Oh.
didn't extract it. The Red Bull doesn't have that gap to the grid anymore. What is
I
it?
agree.
It's a tenth to the McLaren and the Red Bull,
This
or
is
in the Mercedes,
Yeah, but this is a so this is you have
and
to-
that's in Verstappen's hands. It's a tenth.
This is a track that allows for overtaking, and he is going to be in a position to do some overtaking with a car that is faster than the cars in front of it. The marginal, it's still a DRS assisted overtake that he's going to be doing. Like a lot of those simulations
On the
that you
main.
look at on the main straight, right? You have to keep that in mind. So like
If
he
it
can
does get wet in
can get a
sector
lot of
2,
work done. Yeah.
with all the camber in that windy sector 2, there is
Yeah.
you can overtake a lot in there. You can
there's a
go
lot of
there's a
so
lot of
much
racing
opportu-
lines.
There's tons of opportunity.
Here's
right?
something I'll say.
Okay.
There's not a lot of hard braking zones here. There might not be any.
No, there is
Turn 1, you kind of
Very-
brake hard, but
very
you have
few.
uphill assistance. So
Very
that's he likes 90-degree corners. He likes hard braking zones. He
100%.
likes rear limited. That's not
100%.
really this track. This
No,
is
it's not.
overtaking a guy in third gear while you go around the outside on a
No,
camber.
I get it. This is listen. I got to put it out there because
I'm gonna write it down because I like the line. You're
It's
coming
value.
in strong with a plus 350
There's
for me.
value there, right? There's some value there, right? You have to. There's a lot of things you have to keep in mind, right? Like you talked about, there's impacts to the race that could happen that allow him to move up. He had comparable long run pace. Again, this is on the hard tire, so it's tough to. I like when you look at the long run pace, even on a tire that they're not maybe going to use in the race. Like if you can do it on a shit tire, you can do it on the mediums if they're going to be the one that's the race tire in theory, right? And
I don't love it.
It's a Red Bull.
I don't love it.
I know you don't love it.
Mercedes is favored
Mercedes is favored to
for
have two cars
double podium.
for double podium, but that's because Max.
That's because they saw my hot
foregone.
pick. Everyone
Is
just
that-
smashed
is that
on,
why?
on my hot pick.
100%. Which I don't even like. I don't even love your hot pick. I'll be honest. I don't even love it. Like
I can't throw
don't love
out
it at all.
Mercedes double podium because we're already on it on the hot pick.
Yeah, I mean.
Well,
Mercedes
I don't think I love it either. But
Yeah, we're not going to do double sprint podium, double race podium. That would be crazy.
dude, I almost feel like it's just a toss up who's gonna get double podium. I don't feel good about Checo. It's like there's value, maybe one of the teams, but I could also see McLaren getting both of their cars on the podium for plus 2,000. If we're talking just, let's just throw something out there for a team to have two cars on the podium. I think it's most likely no one has a double podium here.
That's fair too. Like I think so. Maybe you just completely avoid that bet and you go
Between Charles, Lewis, Lando, and then to a lesser extent George and Sainz right there. But like this is probably Max, Lando, Lewis again, right?
Max, Lando, Lewis is probably
As the combo.
Well, what is the combo? Like let's get
Do you want to jump into there?
let's get the opinion of the books on it. I'm assuming that's probably what it's going to be.
Okay, just for a mindset of where they
Yeah.
see.
It's always
Okay.
good to see that.
We don't want podium. I want straight or
Straight.
no. Combo
what is
TriCast.
the straight TriCast is
Combo TriCast.
those three with Lando in second. Oh no, it's a
Max,
mixed
Lewis,
one.
Lando is the combo
Yeah.
TriCast, and then
Yeah,
Charles
which-
is the second most, and then Charles, with Lando or Lewis.
It's pretty well exactly like it was in the Mexican Grand Prix. It's the same thing. They're picturing the same result theoretically, and they
I
can't
guess
place- they
the
can't
extra
place
value
Checo.
here, the extra value is you have to pick the third driver. But like Max, Lewis, Checo is the highest, the shortest odds that involve Checo. That's plus 900.
I get it. I understand. I understand why. Right? You take a risk if you. So, but here's my perspective: is we're already changing the mindset. If you bet on, this is a dumb way to look at it because gambling, you're never in a position of leverage. But I feel like you are in a higher position of leverage with the book if you're taking longer bets. Right? It's a weird way to approach it, but in theory, I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You know what I mean, though, right?
You're
Like-
moving in my direction of betting.
I know,
mentality.
I know.
I like
I-
plus
I-
money bets because you got
I-
to hit less, and then you hit them big.
Yeah, but I think you have to.
Dude, I'll say
maybe
this.
an underlying reason that you're acknowledging the plus money bet.
No, okay, yes,
Right?
of course. Like Sebastian Vettel starting in 11th with tire choice, and he had pace and got a red flag in Baku, and he's plus 2,500 to be on the podium. There was a lot to justify that. Anyways,
That's sick.
I think, dude, I was chatting with producer Gary. The best thing that might happen for our show is we go 1 for 4 on bets, but they're long bets and we still make profit. So everyone can come, all the idiots can come and say, "You lost 3 of your bets, you guys suck, blah 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 blah," and then our defenders can be like, "Not a parlay, they actually won money, and you and I make profit." That's probably the best thing for our show.
That would be great.
I had a thought, and now I've lost it.
Okay, so can we move on to the next bet that I want to throw out there?
Okay, yeah, throw out bets, guide me.
Okay. Plus
So far, it's all shit, but guide me.
plus 2,200, both AlphaTauris in the points. Plus 2,200 jobs.
Alpha Tauris,
Yeah. So again, playing with a bunch of grid
not the
positions.
Romeos. Okay.
Not the Romeos. Okay. So one thing has clearly happened from the development perspective when you compare the bottom 4 teams. When you look at Haas, when you look at Williams, when you look at AlphaTauri, and you look at Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri has developed their car the best. They are clearly no. It's not even like you can't.
No.
even-
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
My point,
I was
my comment was going to be kind of exactly in conjunction with all that about Red Bull putting their name back on the Alpha Tauri.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Isn't
And then
it?
out of nowhere, they have a floor now, and they
Yeah.
got Danny Ricciardo, and they're like, yeah, I saw the race pace from Albert. It was like they're the 5th team in race pace now.
Well, they legitimately are on long run pace better
Yeah.
than the bottom. They're better than Alpine theoretically.
They
And
are.
this is I have a couple fades on Alpine for the weeds, but we can. Get into
Oh,
that. Your favorite.
You are really talking my language.
Yeah. Like this is I'm coming in with some
Oh,
hot
all
bets,
right.
chaps.
These
are all
guys
the
just
hot
trying to
picks,
get on my
baby.
good side today.
I know. So, the first thing I really liked with AlphaTauri prior to looking at some of the long run pace was that Yuki Tsunoda missed out on both drivers didn't get into Q2, so you go like automatically over one lap. You're like, yeah, this car is not that fast on this track.
Yeah, but he had traffic, right? Lewis Hamilton.
He had traffic, right? And he also missed out on P1 in Q1 by like 0.5. So he was 0.5 back, and they were saying it's the smallest margin for a driver to be eliminated in Q1 in terms of their distance back from the leader in Q1.
From pole. Yeah.
From pole.
I mean, we expected that coming into this because it's one of the shortest laps, so there's less time to create a gap.
This is the track it would happen at, but theoretically, staying within that gap is what you want to see if you're going to be pulling up into a points position.
So you're looking at both of them into the top 10.
Well, okay, they could have
coming
done
from 16 and 17.
Again, this is the perfect track to do it on, though. When you can make overtakes, this isn't Mexico where they were benefited by. Like Danny was benefited by the fact that there's only so many areas that you can overtake in. He was able to hold his position. Yuki came into the points though. No, Yuki was in. Where did he start in? 9, 10. He had 9 or 10, and he was there. He just made a stupid mistake with Oscar. You have to imagine that he's going to adjust. I mean, sorry, that's a stupid thing to say with Yuki Tsunoda. There's a higher probability that he doesn't come out of back-to-back races.
Yuki started 15th last week.
There you go. Guy came into a point-scoring position, made a stupid decision.
So in your mind's eye, are you envisioning Aston Martin coming out of the points as potential points places? When we look at this, I always think, okay, well, 10 people start in the points, so who's forfeiting points? And we can't just say the 3 cars that crash are 100% going to be out of the top 10.
No. But so one, like just say
that
one.
helps.
So,
that helps.
Yeah.
We're in.
Yeah, say one is coming out. So say Lance Stroll is coming out theoretically, which you already, and then say somebody else comes out. Anybody else comes out in between them into a point-scoring position. Any of those top 10 drivers other than Lance Stroll, something happens. That's not a.
But you need 2 though. You need both Astons. Yeah. You
need Lance Stroll and you need somebody else to come out.
And then we're saying on race pace alone, from 16 and 17, they're going to get the Haas's and they're going to get the Alpines.
Yeah.
Alex Albon is a cork. Now, what I like against Albon is the not the main straight, but like that first DRS zone after the corners 1, 2, 3, 4. That's straight. That's in a straight line, so that helps Albon. The main straight, he's still kind of turning, so I don't know if he's getting the maximum speed on that. He's still got to be turning the wheel.
They like the frustrating part about pegging down Williams is that they don't know why their car is good. Like they talk nonstop
because they have Alex Albon, and he's a stud.
He's sick. Like he is such a good
stud.
He's so good. He's amazing. He's an amazing driver. But it was Albon himself this week, and I thought these quotes were interesting, talking about the AlphaTauri. So I mean, this is the outside of the battle for second and third, like that battle for 7th in the constructors standings is huge because you've got AlphaTauri
tens of millions
coming off the fucking mat to rise up over the last couple of races. And if Yuki scores those points, I mean they're in 7th. I think theoretically, Albon is saying when they put their upgrade on, I think it was in Suzuka, they made a huge step right away, and they keep unlocking it more and more over the year, which is true. Like the last couple of races, they've been really honing in on the setup. So he said literally they've overtaken us in terms of pace, which we've seen based on the long run simulation pace. And they have a couple of tracks that, and he's like, this track specifically at Brazil, that I think it's going to suit their car well. They seem to be very strong in low speed corners. I think it's going to be tough. So that's Albon admitting that the AlphaTauri is a threat to them. And we know that they're a threat. It's not even like, you hear that from Albon, you're like,
they are.
I mean, but they are. They're legitimately a threat. Plus 2,200 jobs.
I like this better than the Red Bull.
Okay.
I like this better than the Red Bull.
That's insane, though. That's insane. But
it's not insane.
It's not insane, though.
It's not insane because it might be less positions for them to gain. It's more positions to play with, and it doesn't involve Checo Perez.
Yeah. If I'm going to make a two-car bet...
He hurt me last week. He hurt my feelings.
He hurt your feelings big time. I get it. But if we're going to make a two-car bet, like that's the type of two-car bet.
And it's plus 2,200.
It's plus 2,200.
Yeah.
For 2 cars. We usually
$50 on that, we can lose 10 more bets. Who cares?
Minus 350 usually is what we're betting or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll bet $100 on it if you're interested. We'll talk about that. It's fine.
Okay. I'm devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And we cannot bet on the weather or in relation to the weather, but rain comes to the Haas. And that's probably why they're 11 and 12 on the grid, because it was this mixed weather session yesterday.
Yep.
But over the course of a race, it's not going to come to the Haas that much. Remember Magnussen was on pole here last year. Very similar, right? Like just overperformed in qualifying because there was rain.
Yep. So I think immediately what Yeah, and you mentioned this right off the top of the show. Like the lateral stress on the tire that you see at Interlagos is going to be a problem for them. So they obviously, I don't know, did the upgrade work? They don't really have like good data from it. It seems like it's been a weird couple of tracks.
Yeah,
and so it's tough to say. However, it's fairly obvious that it's not making them a points contender, right? Like it doesn't seem.
No.
If it was, Nico would have been able to hang on in Mexico. He just lost out to Esteban Ocon, which was like also the cringiest message on the radio I've ever heard.
Ocon Which one? What did he say?
Ocon being like, "I'm gonna tell Haas."
Oh my god! Yeah, yeah.
Like,
and then he
he's
proceeded.
Like the most unlikable guy. Like,
and then he proceeded to not go down the inside for like 5 laps. Tell them I'm coming. No, you're not, bud.
Then he just barely gets a move done by the end of the race. Like, oh, God. What
I like this. I like this actually. Like the more we talk about it, the more I like it.
Okay.
Because we're saying the Alpines are slower on race pace. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Danny Ricciardo's in form. He's going to be in the Red Bull soon.
Danny Ricciardo, like, man, what a 180 for me on Danny Ricciardo. But I think it's as simple as they actually are listening to him. It's not the McLaren where
that's the reports I'm seeing.
It's not that they can't. So the McLaren, not that they didn't want to listen to him because Lando has complained about the drivability of the car for the entire time that he's been there.
Yeah.
Under the new regulations. But they've been able to set up the car for Danny so that he can U-turns, man. We've talked about this, right? Like he doesn't have to V-turns anymore.
Right.
He can U-turns and this is a track that if you want to U-turns and
it's
maintain
all U-turns.
You want to maintain speed through the corners, like this is the perfect track for him. He has a little bit of a loose rear end and he kind of likes that. They were so concerned about that rear end stability. It's a big problem for Yuki because he fucking sends the car spinning, but Danny likes it, man. He can manage it through these corners.
What happened to him in qualifying? Why is he 17?
I think they just didn't get the tires in the right window. It was just a weird qualifying session, right?
That's it. Actually, okay. So that's another thing to justify people moving through and changing positions. It was a qualifying session of track evolution. 100%. It was all about when were you out on track.
It was a very weird qualifying session that was affected by conditions. It was affected by timing, right? I didn't pay enough attention to see if some of those drivers that were holding up, like we got the Alpines getting the penalties, you've got George Russell getting, like, did that have a knock-on effect? We know Lewis had a knock-on effect on Yuki, right? So there could be multiple reasons why, and it could be that just like the Red Bull, one lap pace is not the strength of the AlphaTauri, which I don't necessarily think it is. I mean, Danny qualifies P4 in Mexico for situational reasons. Obviously, it's not because of the car's amazing one lap pace.
No, I think that was the tire window just came to him.
The right conditions that set him up for a really great lap. However, they showed good race pace. They showed race pace to be able to maintain position. Yuki showed it obviously to get into the top 10. That's what you want to see. It's about being ahead of the curve, chaps. And I think like that type of bet, that's a long bet. If there's something else that we like that's maybe in between, if we like the AlphaTauri, then we can do that. But that I feel like that bet takes into account this concept of also maybe some cars come out, let's play with those positions. That might be the one that we take a chance on, right?
So I just went down a little path while you were talking there. Is there another team that we can double up where it's not a straight hedge because everyone could get into the top 10? I don't see a lot of value, but my thinking was, if it's not the AlphaTauri, is it someone else that also has really long odds and you only got to hit one of them really? But there's not great odds. Alpines are plus 400, and then everyone else is minus money above them. Like even the Aston Martin's minus money for both cars' points.
Yeah, I would rather take somebody. We kind of tried to do the same thing. So okay, let me take a step back. You very eloquently predicted essentially exactly what was going to happen on the first lap of the Mexican Grand Prix. The only thing that you didn't predict was that Checo was going to fucking run into Charles.
Which he didn't have to do. Like,
I know.
You don't have to do that.
But
I know.
What we did, though, what you did very well was you took the grid and the track and made decisions based on that. And that's what this bet is. It is taking the grid. And so these guys are back, and there's a reason why they're back.
Don't you dare use me and my expertise against me.
That's right. Right? And the track, if you're going to take a constructor, both drivers on a team that was literally in 10th place a couple of races ago, if you're going to pick a track for them to both get into the points, take it at Interlagos.
I'm on
where
this
they can
one.
Make the, okay. I
No,
like
we're
that.
on this one. It's got a star.
Okay.
I was looking for another one
Okay,
with the same concept. If someone comes out, is there another team that just has great odds? But I don't see great odds.
Is there
for
anything
another
else?
team in the top 10?
Yeah, is there anything else in terms of top 6 finishes?
I'm on top 6s now.
Yeah. Do you see anything in top 6 that you like? I have a hard time.
I don't think there's enough value. It's the McLaren.
I was looking at the McLaren too, and
Plus
I think
150.
that I think that Piastri is going to. He's going to have good race pace tomorrow, but is he going to be able to get all the cars in front of him? I don't think the only positions are really the Aston Martins and maybe Sainz. Like that's the hard part, right?
So I'm going to test your own mentality against you. I think the
Yeah.
Aston Martins are irrelevant in this. They're
Okay.
behind the McLarens at the end of the race.
I agree.
Like, they're
Yeah.
not holding on to the McLarens, right?
No.
So that puts them into 8th out of 10. That's 2 spots.
Yep.
So are 3 cars going to come out of this race? Are 2 spots going to open up where it's not Lando crashing?
Yeah, it could. Is it worth like? Is
No, it's not at plus 150.
The,
No, I don't think so.
That might not be the line to exploit. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it is.
And it's a 2-car bet. Like that's like I said, it's a plus money 2-car bet, which I'm okay.
Do your
with. I like-
AlphaTauris get into the top 6?
No, that's insane. Imagine
12,500.
that would be insane.
12,500.
12,500. You'd
$100 bucks. We just make 12 grand.
That'd be insane.
Buddy, we're profitable for 4 years with that. No, like 10 years with that.
That would be insane.
Let's go straight losses for the next 10 years. Be like, yeah, we're
Doesn't
still
even matter.
profitable.
Yeah.
Yep, we made money.
We just make heavy minus money bets nonstop after that.
Yeah.
Just the shortest odds of all time, just to maintain.
Max
Yeah.
Verstappen win every week at minus
Yeah.
1,000.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I love a top 6 for both
What else
cars.
do we have here?
What else in the teams?
I didn't see anything else in the teams that was really standing out to me.
What's most team points? Red Bull's minus 450.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, how about this? I'll also throw this out there, chaps.
Okay.
And you're also gonna be like, what the fuck, man?
You pulled me around on the last one.
Car to set the fastest lap, AlphaTauri plus 10,000. It just happened. Yuki Tsunoda did it. They dropped him into a window. He did it at Mexico. So this is a situational bet. This is, again, if we think that those cars are going to come into the points, there's no reason why they also wouldn't be vying for that extra point. That extra point to maintain what I think is going to be a theoretical lead over Williams at the end of this weekend. So they might be really pushing Danny. If they can drop one of those you get 2 cars with this bet, which is sick.
Yeah.
Like if you find a window just like they did in Mexico, right? So you're obviously going to have, there's other teams like Ferrari and Mercedes are going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be trying to get that point if they can. But they're more focused on getting extra grid positions. AlphaTauri would be happy to just get into the points. And if there's any sort of gap in that like 8 to 9 to 10 window, then I can see them, you get 2 chances at it. Danny and Yuki, once the track evolves right to the end of the race, I can see one of them trying to make a quick stop and then getting that fastest lap. It just happened.
I'm trying to
does it
think who
happen
else
again is crazy.
I'm trying to think who else gets it. I don't think Max does because I don't think generally
Yeah.
Interlagos doesn't suit the Red Bull. He hasn't looked great. I think they're done upgrading. Like I think he's
Yeah.
going to drift this car around the next couple of races and then just
Yep.
wait for next year. It's probably Lewis is my biggest concern. I don't even think like the McLaren never really
Lewis-
has fastest lap pace.
Sorry, did Lewis get it? Lewis ended up Lewis got it in.
Yeah, I think Lewis got it last week. Like right
Lewis
at the
got
end.
it. Lewis
Didn't
got
he?
it right at the end. Yeah, he did. You're right.
Yeah.
And he was pushing.
So
He
it's
just
like-
got it right at the end. He just got it. You're right.
And
Yeah.
and Interlagos does suit the Mercedes. They
Yeah.
like literally won the race last year.
Yeah, but so we have to qualify this though. They won the race last year because they were the only team that could win the race.
Right.
Like after Max sustained damage,
Right.
who else was going to beat them at that
No,
point?
I understand. But I'm just saying, like, dude, even back in 2021, when it was
Yeah.
Max and Lewis going right down to the wire, like Lewis
Yeah.
overtook 25 cars and won this race from the back. Like this,
Yeah, it was sick.
And,
It obviously
he's,
does.
he's an honorable Brazil, honorable, honorary Brazilian,
honorary Brazilianaire.
honorable.
He's not an honorable.
He's a Brazilian.
He is honorable. He's an honorable guy. He's knighted. Right?
He loves this track. It suits him. Like, what's him for fastest lap? The Merc is plus 350. That's actually
interesting.
not.
That's an interesting.
That's not a lot. That's not low value. Like 350 is not bad.
plus 350 is pretty good. what like talk me you're saying that they could hit that. So the nice thing about that bet is they have a reason to get the extra point because they're in a battle. Like I love that.
But so does
mentality.
Lewis.
So no, that's what I mean though.
Yeah.
Like, the Mercedes Mercs have a reason to get that. So Lewis himself needs the point. Like,
George
if
is in a
anything-
battle too for like P8.
Yeah, but actually, I might. What do you just get with Lewis? It might not
I
be
saw
any better.
I saw headlines that George came into this week requesting the team help him in his battle for P8. It's like, George, Lewis is fighting for P2. Like, shut up. What are you
Just shut
talking
up.
about?
I know.
Like,
Sometimes George is a little bit too much for me.
he's a dweeb.
He's a massive dweeb,
But that's why he's the perfect driver. Union.
plus 650 for Lewis just to get. Actually, it goes max minus 188. Lewis plus 650.
Yeah, I like that. Do you
I like
remember
that. I like that.
what
I like
race
that.
was it? Austria,
It was-
maybe?
Not Lewis. It wasn't.
And he
Austria.
went.
Yeah.
It was something in mid where he was last lap of the race.
Yep.
He was purple sector 1, purple sector 2, and I'm here. I'm like, fucking
we
purple
had it.
sector. He didn't get it though. But like
Yeah, no, I know.
that split 10 seconds where I saw purple sector 2, I'm like, oh, Lewis, here we go.
Yeah, I know.
That to me just has way more actual meaning and justification behind it than throwing at the AlphaTauri.
Well, I think we already have an AlphaTauri bet that we like. We're not going
Right.
to double down essentially on them.
But you made me think, who is going to get the fastest lap? I don't think the Ferraris hang on to their tires long enough into the race with track evolution.
Right? Yeah.
And I don't think this isn't Max Verstappen with the peak Red Bull. It's not a track that suits the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Lando
I mean,
and McLaren, we
Lando
just don't
can-
see them get. They're a tenth below the
Yeah.
fastest lap, but they're there the whole race, so they're like consistent, and they're gonna. So it's Lewis probably.
I like the bet. I think it makes. And if Max gets it, you go, okay, whatever. Like he's the minus money bet. I mean, that's whatever. It's fine. That's part of the mentality of. Yeah, like if you take somebody who's a little bit longer, you're probably going to lose the bet, but at least we have justification for it. So plus 650, I think, is pretty good value.
Is that the line plus 650?
Yeah, like we're not going to take George. We don't need to take George, right?
No, we don't need to take. No,
Fuck
that would
it,
suck.
just take-
That would suck if it's George.
Yeah, but you know what? You just have to say fuck it. Like whatever, it is what it is. Like we like Lewis. We like Lewis in that bet.
Okay, I got two stars, and they're both like very good lines. Dude, the post this week is just gonna be like, all right, first up, the flyer of the week,
Yeah.
and next up, a flyer.
Another a bigger flyer. Yeah. Well, I don't want to get too out of control with what we're doing here. So, like, what is there? Like, I still haven't seen anything though that's jumping off the page to me as like, I want to be on that bet from a minus money perspective. And maybe
No,
this
me
is
neither.
Too
Maybe
much of a
we've-
change.
we've
maybe
been
I've
looking at
gone,
teams.
Maybe I've gone too far in one direction. Well, I was just looking at individual position bets right now. Points finish, individual drivers. What do I see here that I like?
Yeah, we're on drivers now. Okay,
Yeah.
drivers.
Nothing. I don't like any of it. I don't.
Took
like,
us
I don't like-
46 minutes to get to drivers. Holy.
Yeah, we get time, but we're okay.
No, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Ever since I started doing chapters, I've been kind of half tracking how long each segments are.
Fuck it. I'm jumping into the weeds. Like whatever. We just got to say we already did fastest lap for God's sakes,
Okay,
buddy.
no drivers.
Esteban Ocon, not to classify.
That's the one you want to pick on.
Yeah, he's the guy who I think he's come out of 4 races already or 5 races. So here's the thing. That big hill, right?
Yeah.
You really run the power unit hard. You really push on the power unit. And of all the power units that are going to blow up, it's going to be Alpine.
They didn't take any new components
I didn't see that.
because Brazil's up there again. It's not as high as Mexico, but this is an altitude race.
There's an altitude race. They might have taken new components like most teams do ahead of Mexico. That
But
doesn't.
no one took penalties last week for components.
No, because to be honest, like reliability hasn't really been that big of an issue for most of the teams.
No, you're right.
But you know what team it has been a problem for? Alpine.
Alpine.
Of all the teams, right?
I
Like,
also love that he's starting right beside his teammate.
you love that too. And chaps, if cars are going to come out of the race, I know you said Lance Stroll was one that you were looking at, but man, Esteban Ocon, he kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like we've been on him, and he's done some good work for us, and we've been on him, and he's done some really terrible work for us.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be able to fade him here. Again, I just think that there's a risk that, like you said, he goes into his teammate. He's got to, they have to rely on this power unit really heavily to make up. They're going to be pushing. There's a lot of overtakes out there to take advantage of. How many moves is he going to get done before he makes a mistake or his machinery gives out on him? It's another, but it's plus 500. It's another massive flyer. I don't know. Like it is what it is.
What's Stroll? What's Stroll for?
Stroll to come out is same thing, plus 500.
Didn't Aston Martin double DNF for like mechanical issues last week? Or 2 weeks ago? Didn't they just like retire both cars out of last place?
Yeah. But that's different though. Like what are the chances of doing that when you start third on the grid? Or like him getting in an accident is what you're hoping for.
No, I also could see the Aston, like, we're not that far removed. It's like 2 races ago. They just double DNF'd for mechanical. Didn't they just pull in?
They have a Mercedes power unit. Like, that's like, if it's a... So what you've done is it's not going to be a power unit issue, theoretically.
Right.
Right?
No, I think
not
it's
gonna be
crash.
power.
I think it's a crash.
Yeah, it's a crash. You're right. But I'm saying, like, with Ocon, you get the possibility of a crash, and you get the possibility of just failure of the power unit. And if it's the same... If it's plus 500 versus plus 500, which one are you going to take? I understand where you're coming from with Lance Stroll, 100%.
Yeah.
You don't have to take it. I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah,
suggesting
no.
that
I'm
when
just
we look
I'm
at
thinking
it.
through it. I'm thinking through it.
Yeah.
It's like when you wake up early in the morning and you have this vision that Lance Stroll is going to crash.
Yeah.
And then if he does, and we were on someone else, that would suck. Like, it's just like, at the end of the year when we're talking, when they're doing Drive to Survive, Lance Stroll's big podium qualifying, he's not going to finish the race. Like, that's how this ends.
Okay, but he could.
It's
he
a
could
bad
finish.
No,
he
it's
could
a
finish
bad
the race. Like,
it's a bad day.
I understand where you're coming from. I just, I
This doesn't end. Yeah.
I 100%. I understand where you're coming from. 100%. I'm just like, again, I like attaching an additional piece of logic to the longer odd bets, and I get again.
I
Like
get what
Lance
you're saying.
Stroll, that's you get that extra piece of like, if when you lose the bet because it's plus 500, you're going to lose the bet. When you lose it, you go, yeah, you know what? At least I had that extra piece that helped me justify taking that bet theoretically in the end.
Okay.
Okay.
I've jotted it. It's not a star, but I've jotted it down. I would like let's try to find something maybe in the 200. Where are we putting $500 on a plus 2200 right now?
Okay, what about just let me here's another one.
All right, throw out another long one.
Group 1 betting. Lewis
Okay.
Hamilton, Lando Norris, Leclerc, and Russell. Lewis Hamilton to win the group at plus 100. It's even money.
That's a tough group to pick.
So it's Lewis versus Lando, theoretically, based on what
Or
we
Charles. Well,
Is it
yes.
still? Yeah.
No, yeah. But Charles is there.
Okay, I'm gonna have to park this one second. 1 second.
Okay. We'll be right back, folks. And we're back. Sorry,
We're
folks.
back. Okay, so I was again group betting. So I was looking at two things. So the first thing I was looking at was, all right, I think Lewis Hamilton, based on kind of what we talked about earlier, we like him for fastest lap. I don't want to double down too much on him, but I like plus
Right.
650 is not like, I don't consider that doubling down if we also want to take him to have a good result, which we think he will.
Uh-huh.
I think we both are on that same page. Mercedes has shown quality race pace historically here. They look good. They looked good in their long run pace. We are not ever really concerned about where they qualify because generally it doesn't have a bearing on where they're going to finish because of the race pace coming to them on Sunday, plus the fact that they do tend to manage their tires better than the other cars outside of the Red Bull pretty well.
Uh-huh.
So when I was looking at the top two finish, for example, Lewis is minus money.
I was just gonna go over there to
Think
see what
about
that. Yeah.
Think about that. He's minus money to finish 1 or 2. So that's what takes me back to that. And so there's another bet that I thought was very indicative of it too, was the combination podium. So if you look at combo podium,
Lewis is all over those top ones.
yeah, and Max and Lewis to finish on the podium is minus 163, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so those are two, and that's a two driver bet. Essentially, it's a 2-car bet pretty well.
Well, this
At
group,
minus
the group
money.
one assumes Max, like, if Max was in here, he wins group one. They've just taken him out of group one.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
But what you get there is Lewis could be third with Leclerc second
exactly
on the
Now-
minus 163. No, you
Yeah.
could.
No, you
That's
could.
the extra value.
That's what is that extra value if they're thinking that he's already minus money to be top 2. That's the point. Like Lewis is minus money. Lewis is going to finish second according to the books. That's like what they're telling you.
Which this Group 1 is effectively saying, because you and I are agreeing that the Aston Martins are irrelevant, so they're out of the way. So the winner of this group is P2.
How are you getting him at even money? That's the question. Like that's a flaw in how they've set up their odds, and I'm sure this plus 100 is going to disappear relatively quickly.
And I think he DNF'd here last year, right? Like he came into this week. He's got vengeance. He's in a good race car that the upgrades are worth. I think he DNF'd last year.
Yeah, man, he looks, of all the drivers outside of Max, obviously, like he looks to be getting stronger, like the strongest over the last couple of races. He is
what a change! What a change of the narrative from 5 weeks ago when everyone's like Lewis is going to retire because his car sucks and he doesn't, and George is beating him in qualifying and blah 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 blah.
Do we think that plank wear is a potential issue for Mercedes? That's a question.
He's not going to DNF again, is he?
Well, like here's my perspective on that though, chaps, is that unlike the sporting director at Ferrari, Mercedes hasn't said anything about running their car more conservatively. And, buddy, we know how the payment is issued based on the podium, on the rostrum. And after the rostrum the ceremony, if they have an investigation after the fact, like, it's over. It doesn't matter. If he finishes on second, like, it is what it is, right?
True.
So if we don't think that they're going to take a more conservative approach to make sure that he doesn't get disqualified, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm using the same logic to fade Ferrari, but they didn't come out and say something like that. Mercedes didn't say, we're worried about the bumpiness of the track, we're worried about the ride height, we're going to run it more conservatively. They didn't say that. Not that they won't do that, but...
Right. Are you concerned? I'm trying to poke holes. Are you concerned that Charles has an extra set of new mediums in direct... I'm going to compare to Lewis. Charles has an extra set of new medium. Lando has an extra set of new soft. And George has the same tires as Lewis. Actually, one less set of used mediums. I don't know. Did he throw it in the car? Oh, he used a set of hards instead. So, I don't know. Does that concern you that Norris has an extra set of soft and Leclerc has an extra set of medium new?
Okay, well, let's play it out. Let's assume, based on what's been said, that the hard isn't the race tire. Because it's overheating. So
Lewis has 3 new mediums. This race is probably medium, medium, soft, or soft, medium, 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 soft, medium. Yeah. So he has enough used tires there to do that on all fresh sets.
So I'm not really worried about it then.
No, because then that goes into chaos, late safety car, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, now Lando gets a new set of softs compared to Lewis.
So
we can't bet on that.
Yeah, like if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
I like this dude.
I like it. I like it because you just get the even odds on it for something that they think is going to happen anyway.
And right? Part of our value is we look at all the different ways that you could have. We have a guy finishing somewhere. What are all the lines you can bet on? And we found the best one.
What's the best prop that gives you that result essentially in the end, right? I mean, that's not even. He's not even vying. I like the match bets because if the second shortest driver goes out of the race, like theoretically, you're already at a massive advantage. You're not fighting for a position theoretically. You're just fighting against those cars. Right. I like that. I like that mentality, and I like that Lewis is in what seems like a really aggressive mindset. He's got a very aggressive mindset. He's going for P2 in the drivers. It's the same reason we like him for fastest lap theoretically too.
Okay. Did you like... I like that. I got to start. Lewis Group 1. Okay. I didn't love any other groups, I don't think.
I didn't like anything else either, though.
Like, unless you want to go Piastri Group 2. He's the longest, plus 700. For the people, it has Checo, Sainz, and Alonso. And Piastri. But that's like... We're kind of getting lucky if we take that, I think.
I don't like that Checo's in front of him. Like, I don't like that Checo starts in 9. Unlike you,
and
I have a little bit of faith. Like, one of the reasons I like the Lewis bet is because Checo's not in that group. So that off... Because I've already said it before. The off chance that he just shows really great race pace, he has an aggressive attacking mindset, it works out for him. Because there's a possibility that it does work out for him, ultimately, in the end.
We're not on Piastri. He's never driven here in any classification.
I know, yeah.
No, he gets a sprint race to get into it today. But he also has, he's the only one? No, there's a couple guys. He has no new soft tires. Shout out Karun. Karun
Yeah.
did a post today that has the tires. I love that I can reference tires.
What a beauty.
What a beauty.
Yeah.
Okay, Lewis Group 1, plus 100. Alex Albon, starting in 13th. He's plus 150 for the points. Do you like it? Or does that contradict too much with your AlphaTauris both getting in there?
I think it does, man, because I don't. Again, I kind of said this earlier, but I just don't love that they don't know.
Why they're good?
Yeah, you know what I mean. They just
'Cause
don't know
Alex Albon.
why they're good. Well, they're good because of Alex Albon. I agree with that too.
I'm looking at this as he definitely gets the Hasses.
Yeah,
Now, we're saying the AlphaTauris might come through him.
I think
But if he's sitting there now, he's in 11th after he gets the Hasses. Like, is he going to get one position?
I think he's disadvantaged by. I don't know. This is. I mean, again, you're using my logic when you're saying that there's two drivers that he should get theoretically in front of him, and then
One.
maybe something happens and he gets in to the points, which is completely reasonable.
Now, at plus 150, it is way more likely that Albon takes that spot and maybe holds one of the AlphaTauris out.
100%. Yeah.
Like AlphaTauris go 9 or 11, or sorry, 10 and 11, or
Oh yeah, that could easily.
because Albon's in 9.
Yeah, They didn't look particularly strong. So the thing about Williams that I guess I'm a little bit more conservative on is that again they've stopped developing the car, and they kind of show their hand. It seems like Albon will be the star of a practice session, or he'll have a good qualifying, and all of a sudden you'll kind of be like, and it's happened a lot where the Williams, you're like they kind of look good at this track, and it's theoretically like Silverstone had happened, Barcelona had happened. You're like, why? Or Suzuka had happened, and you're like, I don't understand why they're good at this track, but the car, and they don't understand why they're good at this track, but the car has shown peaks that make it seem competitive, and then Albon does what he normally does and just like makes the most out of that and gets into a point scoring position. But then there's been weekends where the pace just isn't there for them, and they finish outside of the points, and it just, you're like, oh yeah, Williams finished outside of the points. It's Williams. It's not that crazy. Like, it's not. He can't make the car do something that it's just. If the Williams car shows potential to be in the points, Albon gets it into the points. And I would say that I haven't seen anything this weekend over the two sessions so far that has proven that. You know what I mean?
Didn't he get track limits that put him back down to 13th?
He got track limits, but it didn't look like it really mattered ultimately in the end.
We don't have to be on it. It does kind of.
Do you agree with my point though that the Williams hasn't?
I don't know if I do, to be honest.
You think
if we look at the
shown...
back 5 teams, right? The both Alphas, the Haas, the Williams, and the Alpines.
Yeah.
The Williams in Alex Albon in the Williams has maybe given me the most confidence the past 5 races.
Yeah, but that's because he's shown flashes in those sessions ahead of the race where you look at it and you go, they actually do have the pace in the car, and then you trust Albon to do what he needs to do to bring it home. I'm saying in FP1 and in qualifying, where was Williams? Where was Albon? They didn't look particularly competitive. There wasn't a particular reason.
Well, he's more competitive than the AlphaTauris. He made it into Q2.
He made it into Q2. Yeah, but that's like
that
that
doesn't feel like an outlier to me. That's just where Williams consistently now is like Albon makes Q2.
What do you think about what's their projected race pace? Does Albert have a?
No, he actually has them low. They might be last race.
I think they did a similar comparable run to everybody on. So there's a couple of drivers that did hard runs and they were longer runs, and I was talking about that earlier when trying to make a comparison between Max and Lando and Checo, but I think it did not show well for them. Like Albon didn't show well on the hard time comparison.
We don't have to be on it.
I don't love it right away, and that's kind of why I'm trying to talk you out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not drawing a line in the sand.
Okay.
I don't have to be on it. Double dipping. He's 13th. Big part of it is the Hasses are there.
Yep.
And I still think the Aston Martins, one of those comes out of the points. So someone's going to inherit a position.
Yeah.
And if it's not both AlphaTauris, it's probably Albon. Could be all 3. But if we're gonna lose on the AlphaTaurs, it's probably because Albon snuck in there
Yeah,
and got in the way.
I agree with you completely, 100%.
But if both AlphaTaurs come out, or sorry, both Aston Martins come out, maybe all three are in, and we win both bets. It's not a direct hedge.
I got you.
We don't have to be on it though if you don't like it.
I don't love it only because, like I said, usually you see something on the timing sheets that makes you go, okay, for whatever reason, this is going to be an Alex Albon weekend. And there are a lot. There's a lot of like.
I think I disagree. I think Albon's just it doesn't need to be his weekend. He's like between P14 and P8 every race.
Yeah, but I'm saying like those P14, 13, and 12 finishes are because he's doing everything he can.
Yeah.
And he just can't get. That's my point, right? There's
Okay.
not enough that the car can do for him ultimately. And they've been outdeveloped. We know that. Like it goes back to that point that I made earlier about those bottom four teams. I mean, that's kind of why I like the AlphaTauri and being ahead of the curve is that Williams hasn't done anything to their car in a number of races, right? So.
And like Vegas will probably suit them a lot better with with that massive straight.
Yeah. Okay, this is the other one this is the other one I liked. This is a Checo bet, but it has nothing to do. Okay, just hear me out.
Okay.
So we have to think about. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard, but.
I mean, the way you're pitching this, I'm off.
It's plus money. Hey, it's plus money. So you're already back.
Right,
you're back, baby. You're back.
We have a lot of. I'm gonna be the one that says I feel like we have so much plus money right now.
That's okay. We can
No,
we'll make some decisions, right? Okay, so I liked the race handicap last week, and it really only happened because of the flag at the end. But Max didn't run away with it the way that you thought he might. Sergio, 33 seconds to be within 33 seconds of Max at the end of the 33 seconds is a lot. So, okay, like just look at it on pure performance. The two fastest cars. I get that Checo's starting in 9th or whatever.
Yep.
But is Max going to have a 33-second lead on him? But he might have a 33-second lead on second place. I mean, that's completely possible, theoretically. Yeah. Checo could be second place. I'm not saying he will be because we think Lewis Hamilton's going to be second place ultimately in the end. But like it's funny because when you go to the race handicap page, of all of the timing, like you look at the times, like 16 seconds for Lando, 10 seconds for Lewis, Leclerc's 25, Russell's 28, Checo's 33, and he's the second shortest odds with Max to essentially. I don't understand the Max bet; doesn't make any sense to me. But
yeah, Max.
I've never understood this. Like, what does that mean?
Is that Max to win, basically?
No, I know. There's no way that's what it is, though. If that's been Max to win this entire time, and we just haven't been betting on it, you know what?
Finish time minus 0.0, so you take 0.0 seconds off, and then he would be the winner.
Okay, so maybe we'll put like $10 on that just to see what happens. Can you do that? Just put $10.
Hold on, I have the rule sheet saved.
Yeah, but I think I've read it and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, we could read it today.
I looked at this.
What's the bet called?
It's called Race Handicap.
Handicap.
Yeah, I've looked at it like 100 times, man, and like I don't know. Every time I look at it, I'm like, is that just a win? And then I always go, nah, that can't be the case. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Handicap betting.
Yeah.
Each driver's handicap is applied to their race time. The driver with the best race time after applying the handicap is considered the winner. Oh,
I see.
So you have to do all of these on this page.
Got you.
And yeah, so it's not just pegging it to Max Verstappen. It's you take off these seconds for everybody.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then who wins. Which is interesting.
That makes Checo even more interesting, I feel like.
No, I think it makes... I don't think we know enough about this category. We might have to just table this and watch it.
That's fine, yeah.
No, because I went to Lewis. Like, if Lewis is P2 and within 10 seconds, then he's plus 550. But no, you've got to do... Where did Checo... Is Checo within 23 seconds of Lewis then? That's too much, I think, for us to know.
Yeah, all right, okay. We can't navigate that. That's too much. Okay.
That's crazy, right?
That's interesting. We're going to have to look into that a little bit.
Hold on, I'm going to screenshot this so we can come back to these, what the I'm very curious. Or no, you know what? Let me take the sprint. Do they have this for sprint so I can actually see it today?
Sprint.
Do they do race handicap for sprint?
Sprint. I don't think they do.
No, how could they? It's such a shorter race.
Yeah,
How
it's
would they
too
know?
short. Yeah, it's too
Damn.
short.
Okay. Okay. Well, I've got it for tomorrow. We'll check.
Okay, we'll take a look.
Yeah, I don't think we can dive on that right now.
Okay.
This is in the weeds. We didn't really. Yeah. Like, do we just go straight TriCast or something? We've got a lot of plus money already.
We have so much. I know. That's what I was thinking. Is there anything? Is there a minus money bet that we want? What is going on? I'm not like, okay, I understand that I came in with a different mindset.
Yeah.
But I'm not like actively ignoring bets that I think are going to hit. I just don't like the value that you're getting. I feel like the books have just adjusted too heavily in one way for favoring McLaren, the teams, like Mercedes as a team, McLaren as a team, and Red Bull as a team.
Yeah, like me, both Mercs in the top 6 minus 200. They're probably the most likely team to have both their cars in the top 6 for me. Means George has to get there, but if the Astons fall out, George inherits 6th.
Yeah, I like. I liked. Fuck, it's so hard. We're always on.
George was provisional pole on one of the at one
I
point
feel like that bet
with
never
Evolution.
hits though. It's so weird.
Well, it's hit
So I
a
will
lot.
say-
It has hit a lot for us.
Okay, so let me
Let's-
let me take a step back. So, like George Russell, weirdly has kind of sucked the last 2 races, but there's been 2 pretty. So, yeah, what was it? He lost his tires in Mexico because of like the cooling issue. Then he was lifting and coasting, and he really fucked us in Austin. But those were 2, like they weren't a problem with his pace. He was restricted based on circumstance, and you're like, is that going to happen again at a track where he's probably has the best pace in the triple header? Like, you're right, you might be getting ahead of the curve. Minus 200, I feel like if this bet is literally in Austin, I bet you this bet was minus 300 in Austin,
Probably.
right?
And I'm entering this week thinking and understanding that this is a track that suits Mercedes. They would have said it at the start of the year. When we get to Brazil, that's one of our tracks. The only other one that I'm thinking is like, do we just go max to lead? Let me pick your lap. 1, 5, and 10 are all the same and win the race. That's minus 275.
Yeah, they've kind of adjusted those odds now at this point.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
So, like, do
I
you
mean,
feel
yeah.
better about Max just leading lap 10 and winning, or both Mercs getting up into the top 6?
The craziest thing is that I'm not just like jumping up and down to take that bet. Not that I don't think Max is
At the
gonna win.
max? Yeah.
It's weird, but like I'm not immediately for.
But
whatever
why?
reason.
Who's the threat? Lewis.
He's 5th, yeah. Like he's not really a threat, obviously.
I don't think Charles is a threat over the course of a full race.
742.
He's
Sorry,
not
let
in
me go-
form.
Let me go back to quickly because I made myself a note. So George in FP1 was the quickest. There's 8 drivers who were on the medium compound, and he was the quickest, and he set that time halfway through the session, and he was a 10th off the outright pace in the end. So I like that's a good bet. Lewis and George.
That's a minus money that we have on the board.
Yeah, like we're not.
We
overly
got 20.
concerned.
We got 20 minutes till the lines close, or like less.
I see
So
that. I see that. Okay. So maybe we want to jump into.
sprint weekends they force our hand a little bit. Although this is an hour 17. So
Yeah.
are we too much on Lewis?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he comes out of the race, are we fucked? Yeah, obviously that's a massive problem. We have to be.
No, because then the AlphaTauris inherit 2 top 10 positions, and we just make money because we have $100 on the AlphaTauris.
Yeah. I mean, what do we have right now? Is there any? I don't like.
Okay,
is
so
there
I
anything
have
else that we like?
with the stars I have both AlphaTauris in the top 10 plus 2200. Lewis has the fastest lap plus 650. Lewis wins Group 1 plus 100, and both Mercs in the top 6 minus 200.
I mean, I'm not shy of that board. I'm not shy of that ticket. Are you? Like, I don't have a.
What helps is if Lewis does, like, we're working with that. If Lewis comes out, then the AlphaTauris hopefully inherit those top 10 positions. I mean, that would be our saving grace. Either Mercedes is who we think they are, which every week, dude, what we think is right. It's just like who crashes. So I like.
So like you let's finally take advantage of that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, okay, somebody's gonna crash. It's always our guy. So let's also keep
I
in
don't
mind,
think I love
if-
the Ocon DNF. I had the Ocon DNF written
Oh
down
yeah,
here.
that's
but,
fine. That's okay. Yeah, get rid of that then. That's not a big deal.
I mean, that is we're throwing shit at the wall. Hopefully, it
100%.
sticks.
100%. Yeah.
And I don't think I love the Red Bull both podium. I think that's too unlikely at minus or plus 350.
Okay.
I don't know if that's enough odds.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Do you really like that still?
No.
No.
I think we've moved in a direction where we're not. So all of those bets, Checo doesn't fuck them up.
Right.
Really, like the top sixes, he can get in and still.
Unless he crashes into George, which is very likely.
100% possible. Well, I mean, we're betting on George, so there will be, like this is the problem is that
Yeah.
when the guys that we bet on will come out of the
crash.
race.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like I don't know what to tell you. It's impossible for us to avoid it if we bet on guys.
Except for Lewis.
Except for Lewis.
Knock on
No,
wood.
Lewis, Abu Dhabi. He didn't
Abu
crash. but
Dhabi.
Last lap.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
guy starts hydraulic. Want to know why? Because we were on it. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. What are you gonna do? It is what it is.
Quick peek at winning margin. Is this one where it's under 6 seconds because the grid's just closer to each other?
I didn't.
Over 12 seconds is the favorite.
I didn't like. I didn't like it when I looked at
Don't love it.
it. No, I didn't like it when I looked at it.
We didn't get into the combo podium. Let's take a quick peek at combo podium fades.
So I did. Look
Obviously,
at the
you
podium.
looked at it. Yeah.
I always do.
You
Yeah,
definitely did.
I did look at it. I didn't see anything that I liked.
Max and Lando, no.
If anything, the Max and Lewis pushed me to take that Group 1 bet, like I said before, right?
Right. Because he's favored, to be honest.
Because he's
right?
favored to be honest. Yeah.
Do we just roll with these four?
Maybe we do, man.
We're just heavy on Lewis, and then we've got the AlphaTauris in the back.
He's gonna crash 100%. I mean, it is what it is. Whatever. Like I don't even care. At this point, it's been like 2 years. I don't care anymore.
No,
It's part of the deal. It's part of the deal.
We win some, we lose some. We're still very up overall. That's huge. Like,
Yeah. I know. It doesn't matter.
but whatever money we win this week is being spent in Vegas in 2 weeks. So
100%, buddy.
like I don't know how expensive it is. I think I might have to get inside the sphere.
Okay, hold
at
on. One
point.
more. Okay, Chad.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
I wrote down
Oh.
one more thing. One
All
more
right.
thing. Okay, so what do we like? This is like it's such a hard decision to make because it's like really betting on Lewis. But if we can avoid betting on George, I kind of like that.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton, 5th or better, minus 225. I think we have to take that. One car, 25 points going in the wrong direction.
That's the bet.
You have to bet that.
Because he's got the Astons there. He's got 3 places to play with.
5th or better.
Lewis 5th or better.
That was the one I wrote down, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta remember.
What is it,
Sorry,
minus-
fuck. Sorry,
No.
that was. Oh no, my mistake. Sorry, that's end of first lap position. Oh wait, maybe we should.
Yeah,
take that.
I didn't think they did.
Maybe we should take that though.
So our only minus money bet is a lap 1 bet.
No. Okay, no, I take it back.
I don't think I just don't know if
I-
I like
I thought it was-
I'm not saying no, but I don't know. Does that taste right? I don't know if that tastes right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Sorry, I thought I was in finishing position, but I was like, wait a minute, they don't do that for finishing.
Oh, they don't. They don't
don't
give
do
you
that.
a. Oh, Lance Stroll, 4th or worse, minus money.
Oh, wait a minute, Jobs.
Okay, what do we like? Lewis 5th or better, or Lance 4th or worse? Those are kind of the same thing, but Lance 4th or worse is minus 138.
What? We have to take Lance 4th or worse and minus 138.
Like that's the bet, dude.
Sorry, that's not finishing.
End of lap 1.
Oh, end of lap 1. Oh no, we can't do that. Sorry.
Well, these are the same.
No.
It's the same thing.
No, we just shouldn't do it. We'll just take the 2 cars. That's fine. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I take it back. Man, I thought you were looking at you went into
Finishing position?
Yeah.
No.
And I'm like, oh my god. Yeah.
Wait, is there? What is like?
No, I don't
that's
see.
not
It's
sprint.
all. They're all
Finishing positions. Just where are they pegging Stroll? I'm curious. Podium plus 3,300. He's plus money for a top 6, but they have him in the points. Okay, and we're saying I don't know if he is. I think the AlphaTauris are there instead.
Checo 6th place or worse is minus money at minus 120. That's
You're
interesting.
still your first lap though.
No. This is actually finishing position. I actually looked at it.
No, they don't do that. Finishing positions, you only have the three categories.
No, they have. I forgot that. So the last one. This is why I was.
What is it?
confused.
Driver market? Driver markets.
Yeah, finishing position.
No, not driver markets.
Sixth place or worse, George Russell.
Are you looking at the sprint? I don't think they have that, dude.
No, it's Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sao Paulo Grand Prix finishing position. It's after the combination TriCast. It doesn't matter. There's nothing really there that's that interesting. I didn't.
Oh, here it is.
I didn't love it. Yeah.
Okay, I think we got to run with these.
Yeah. Okay. So
let's get into the slip. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got longest to short or shortest to longest. Both Mercs top 6 minus 200. Lewis Group 1 plus 100. Lewis fastest lap plus 650, and the AlphaTauris both top 10 plus 2200.
Okay. So group betting, Lewis.
So the 22, I guess, do we just do 50? We don't have that much minus money. Like, I think it's 100.
Hold on. Just give me a second. Let me get the
Okay.
fastest. I gotta find that fastest lap. Luis. And we like.
Like, we're gonna have to put
Tires, buddy. This is
we're gonna have to
full
put some money on some long stuff here.
We're gonna have to put some money on some long stuff.
So if I do 3 there, then we
we're
got
playing,
6 to
baby.
play with. Okay, I started with something. Let's see what you start with, and let's see. Although you like going like 75.
If Lewis like
25s.
it's like so it sucks to know that like
If Lewis crashes,
like,
we're fucked.
yeah,
Okay.
like he gets a puncture right away, and you're just like, oh, like.
Are we?
But do we care? Like, do we care though? I guess it's like I'm like, have we evolved to the point where this is my question? Ultimately, it's 9:47. We got to make a decision.
We have to make
It's
a
like,
decision
We just went through all of it.
with Checo?
Like, no, yeah, we did. So we
No,
just
but
went through-
that's where I'm coming from. We have 3 bets that it's like if the one guy that we like crashes in turn 1, you lose all 3.
Yeah, but do you just
No.
do you just do that though? Like,
Yeah, I
just
think you
say,
do.
Yeah,
and I
just
like
do
it. I like it way better on Lewis than Checo.
100%. Like, I think you just. What I don't want to do is because this is what we would normally do. We'd look at the slip and we go, "Oh my god, I'm so worried
all
something's
Lewis.
going to happen."
Yeah.
All Lewis, and then we throw in the fucking McLaren bet, and that's the one that like comes out. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And then we.
Right.
So we just got to bet on what we think's going to happen.
Okay, let's win a ton. Let's win a fuck ton of money this week.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Okay, where did you start? I started. Do you want me to give you mine?
Go.
$100 on the AlphaTauri,
Yeah, I had that.
$200 on Lewis fastest lap,
Okay,
$300 on Lewis Group 1, $400 on the Mercs.
that's exactly what I had.
I think that's the one.
Just
We
five
both did it blind.
Just for $5,000.
$5,000, dude.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go. Lock it in.
I'm making it 400, 300, 200, 100. Mercedes. This is Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Yeah, they're all the Grand Prix. Mercedes, both cars, top 6 finish, 400. Lewis Hamilton to win Group 1, 300. Lewis Hamilton, fastest lap, 200. AlphaTauri, both cars points finish, 100. I fucking placed the bet. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. Send me the slip. Sprint starts in 10 minutes, down to the wire.
Part of it needs to be approved by a trader. Come on, boys. Let's go. 45 needs to
Come on,
be
let's get that
approved.
approval. Which one? The AlphaTauri?
I don't know. They don't tell me. It's
Oh.
approved. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
You know what it was? It was the AlphaTauri.
Oh, they know.
That's a good sign. It's
They
a
know
good
we're
sign,
on it.
Chaps. It's a
They
good
know
sign.
we're on it.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, that's the show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Comment down below. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff. If you like to bet that we didn't talk about, let us know. Let us know what you're on. We're looking at everything. A lot of our comments are losers, so if you're a winner, we will notice that. And 2 weeks from now, we are in Vegas. Mike and I are going. We're going to do the show from the Strip. We're going to be there at the race. So tune in. We're going to have lots of content, some live Instagrams, live TikToks, F1000. That's the show.